through all the disclaimers and then we're going to look at all the charts. But thank you for tuning in. Obviously, don't trade what you can't afford to lose. Pretty simple. That includes prop firms. It includes your live capital, it includes automation, it includes manual. The reality is the stock market is not a guarantee. Real estate is not a guarantee. Go buy a business, that's also not a guarantee. Build a business, still not a guarantee. But at the end of the day, with no risk, there is no reward. So please just do this, do so in a way that means if you fail by 90%, can you afford to still be here in a year? That's what your budget is, okay? If you're failing and you're learning, because failing is part of learning, can you still afford to be here in a year? Then you know you're not over risking. Then you know your lot sizes are correct. Then you know you can afford another challenge. You guys get the drill. So if you guys have not already done so, please make sure you scan this link tree. If you're buying a take profit trader, Apex, funding ticks, all the things, we are updating, we are updating, we're updating. Please use code 6FTC. It costs you nothing. You'll get the very, very best price for everything on the market. Obviously, I'm a pretty big fan of take a profit trader. I just think they're the easiest. Funding ticks and funding futures are slowly becoming my next. Apex, I have seven-figure aspirations, but I'm not going to lie, it's a little bit more difficult. So, especially when you're mirroring a lot of things. But if you haven't already done so, scan that. That's where you're going to find all the things that we're working with. Also, check out the website. I believe my team posted today. There's only two more of the lifetime packages available, and then those are gone forever. We are never doing that again, no matter what. So definitely check that out. And in theory, we should have some updates on there for our Dragonfly and our automation within the next couple of weeks. And that is everything. So when I say everything, I mean you're going to have data on what does this look like over time, which just helps people kind of get their grubbies off and like stick with something. So that's super exciting. Like I am geeked. I'm working through the whole process, but I am so excited to go through that with you guys. So that's everything we've got in terms of announcements. We've got 4 minutes to Sydney Open, which gives me just a couple of seconds for I went ahead and posted a couple of things real quick because I hadn't done so. We were on our little vacation-ish this weekend. So to kind of give you an idea, I need to post the month review. I had 4 red days in the month of July. Two or three of them were what do you call it? Tech stuff. And then two of them were just bad trading decisions. So fair enough. Like our first Tuesday of the month was a losing red day. And then another one, I just got tripped up on the news and I just kept going. So, but I didn't blow, which is amazing. And then the other couple ones were just the trade sinker nonsense and me trying to make sure gold worked. But we haven't talked about this in a while. We're still waiting on updating the automation for the US 30 copier, but to give you an idea, this is what this looks like over time. This includes the good, the bad, the ugly, broker switches, broker glitches, markets, tariffs, presidents, elections, everything that you can think of. And that's pretty incredible. Okay. So this is one of many, many accounts to kind of give you an idea. So this is our US 30 copier. You can find that in our link tree. You can find that on our website. But just finally kind of getting a chance to go over that. And of course, we know our team is doing some amazing things. This guy particularly is doing awesome. I would pull up all Robert's stuff on Dragonfly, but they are so long. But there's a lot of people doing some really, really good things in our community. So if you haven't already done so, check it out. Go to the link tree, join the community. It's completely free just to give you somewhere to hang out and kind of not be trading alone because trading alone kind of sucks. And it's a hard process to be in business by yourself. But 3 minutes till 8 p.m. I'm not planning on a lot of volume. I'm going to go ahead and pop up to the bigger time frame. Turn off. Wow, that sure does look ugly, huh? Turn off everything. One of the people in class today were like, hey, we're looking to retest this area and then pop back up. I didn't see that. I saw these imbalances here, which we're still not quite filling this one yet. Of course, we've got lows. We've got another many, I think it's probably close to 10% worth of retracement due in terms of gaps. Obviously, it doesn't mean we need to get that at the beginning of August, but I still am big picture bearish. Doesn't mean we're not going to scalp all the little buys to the upside, but big picture, if you're swing trading, we've got a beautiful break of a higher time frame trend line. We've got a break and a retest. We've retested 50% of this nice reversal move. We've got a lot of downward pressure. So what's going on with the news, tariffs, and everything else? I don't know. I can't say. Guys, I'm not a fundamental expert. I just know that overall, big picture, I'd like to see quite a bit more to the downside, but we'll see. So Previous 1 hour candle was a doji. Our next targets, if we do start selling, there's not a lot of imbalance left. There's a little bit all the way down into the 22,989s. Is that going to be enough of a stopping point before we kind of get a bit of a retracement? I don't know. So if we get the sell on this breakout, we know we've got the lows to be targeting and then probably be sitting on our hands while we wait for some more volume to pop into the market, but we'll see how this all plays out. We're already down on the day a little bit. Beyond that, I'm still targeting all the way down in here into the 22,100s, 22,200s. I really liked this area particularly. I was looking for it for the past few weeks as we were edging up. That's the 22,100. So we're gonna see what we get. And let's go to that smaller time frame and see what the market gives us. So, it's also real hard to get long right here at the bottom, kind of forming this double bottom, if you will. So let's see. Let's see what we get here. It's 8 o'clock now, turning our indicators back on. We're currently sitting below the VWAP, below our 20 moving average. We're sitting at the bottom, real hard to get short, I should have said, not long. Much better to kind of just sweep some of this liquidity real quick and then get a bit of a retracement. That would be an easier play to take because if I'm selling it, I've got resistance very close. NQ. We're sitting really at that bottom. We're on the 2 minute time frame. It might behoove us to pop up a time frame. So, minute and 20 seconds left. Feels like New York opening vibes, although not so much really, because there's not as much volume. Robert says the greatest teacher is failure. Very true. If all I do is try, that means I don't truly believe I can succeed. My mother was the person who told me, you don't ever try. Because if you're telling me you're going to try, you've already told me you're going to fail. You're going to quit. You're not going to give it your best. We don't try, you do it. That's how I was raised. You don't try anything, you just do it. Don't tell me you're going to try, tell me you're going to do it. And if it doesn't succeed, that's fine, but you tell me you're going to do it. You don't tell me you're going to try. That's how I was raised. So y'all know. Do you or do you not? But let's see. Caught some baby moves this morning, nothing major, nothing out of the ordinary. I should have got closer to 25 points on the NQ move and or sold into the bigger move I was looking for, but I didn't. I just took I think I got 11 points on it in total. Only one, and that's fine. Then I took some gold as well. And that was all I did. Not much. But I'm focusing on a very smaller target because it's easy to catch this move, but in the interim, if it's messing up all the prop firms, it's just not worth it. I'd rather just cash that amount in, cash that amount in, cash that amount in, and go for more. Problem is when you end up going for more, there's NQ breaking to the upside. We're trying, gapped up to the upside too. But every buy has been sold back into. So if you're going to be buying this, I would definitely be trying to give it a little bit more room than this low personally, and I would be protecting it. So I'm not in this just yet. We've got a minute and 30 seconds left on this candle. I'm currently bullish, but we gapped up to bring that in. Gold had a huge move this morning. Did not see gold. Oh yeah, I did. I bought some of gold. Well, I wasn't like watching it long term though. I just bought some and then I think I sold some on a different account. But those accounts aren't mirrored. I stopped mirroring gold through Trade Syncer, mostly because I didn't know some of those brokers weren't even allowing the gold trades in. So it is what it is. We're buying gold, NQ, which is kind of gapping all around. Let's see what we can't get. I'm going to give this, it's kind of a lot of points, 72, it's 30 points. So plenty of room there, at least into that market closed area. I would like to see us get above this area personally. We're moving now very slowly. Slowly but surely, there's a bit of an imbalance in here. Your in profit, my management's going to kick in here in a second. Very, very shortly. It's up 10 points. Not bad at all for an Asian session trade. 10 points is not bad at all. And there you go. It's gonna magically kind of mirror behind that. Likely it's gonna come knock me out at my 10 points. Wouldn't mind if it would just let me swing up a little bit more, but again, I'm keeping all of my equity buffers on all of these accounts. I'm not giving any of it back. Total 8 ticks. Actually, 6 ticks is how much I'm giving back. So one and done. And we're pulling back now. So easy. Just slightly before that 1-to-1 range. And my entry was a little later too. That's it. It's $194, so just shy of 10 points after fees. That's how much that equals. Not bad. And that's all the move we're getting. I can live with that. Yes. When I'm mirroring, I'm only doing a couple of points. I've learned how to just, if I'm mirroring between that many accounts, you got to think there's like 26 of them. I want my 10 points. And if I want to go in on a single account, or if I want to really get a bigger move, I'm doing that on one account or on Trade specifically. I'm not mirroring that through TradeSyncer because there's just too much that goes wrong in this move where price is bouncing around. One broker might have knocked you out and or flipped it and you can't even see it. Another broker didn't. So my newest solution is if I'm mirroring between that many accounts, I'm going from a very small amount of points and that's it. So we'll see. ES is still sitting below yesterday's closing price or today's closing price. I've really been tracking oil. It's been very smooth. NQ got that perfect target and it has not continued, so that's nice. See what YM is doing. YM a lot more aggressive move and gold still not going the opposite direction of the indices. Still not. That is wild though. Wild, wild. Okay, I got my trade. Who wants to look at another instrument pair, do some analysis, look at for some bigger picture stuff? Because if I'm getting this a couple of times in a day, I don't need anything else. On this account, it's only one mini, but remember on bigger accounts or once you build up the equity, that same 10-point move is, $600 times 10 accounts or $1,000 times 10 accounts. You do that twice. It's a lot of money that you have access to. But you got to keep it. You got to be able to withdraw it. Otherwise, it means nothing. It's just a cool little pretty spreadsheet that's a little green. That's like, woohoo. I really should turn the volume off of this. Could you go look at gold? Not much left to go up. There's room. We're on gold right now, Robert. We're on gold. So if I just take everything off, I'm back at this bigger time frame. Take this off for a second. I'm gonna go all the way up to the 4 hour. We've barely been just remember we have this nice trend line that we drew up, gosh, probably 2, 3 months ago now. We've really been respecting above it. So all the way from down into here, we came back into it, bounced up, came back, came back, came back, slightly lower. And we're looking like we're going to try to make lower lows, but we have failed to make lower lows umpteen times. And I know Scott said something this morning about gold being used for something. I don't recall what it was, and I don't want to misquote him, but gold being part of, I know gold and copper being part of building something. So,
You said
and that's
AI.
what is it?
You said AI.
AI. Okay. So again, I don't know much about all that, but if that's the case, there's that. I do think if we're buying, I would be targeting all the way up to the 3, 4, 52s. So remember, I never go to the tip. I always go prior to the tip. So in case spread, slippage, all the things that happen. And yes, it happens in futures too. You'll notice how that just kind of widens a little bit. I never really target at that tip top. I target prior before that peak. So we're pretty close now, but on gold, how many points is that? What is it, 10 points? So the $1,000 to kind of give you an idea, just back into here. But look, we came into there once and we rejected off pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, gold is like just a full-fledged consolidation on the daily, going all the way back to March for the most part.
People are really not liking gold lately. Yeah, we're just going nowhere.
I mean, in retrospect, it looks like big moves, and obviously, when futures, it's that's a lot of money. But as far as it's expanding and actually making like volume moves as well, as far as like on the 4 hour and daily, it's not really doing anything.
It's really not, guys. We'd have to break out of this wedge, and that's again on the daily. It's just not doing much. Gold higher as the US economy is stalling. It's funny how all these articles have some different perspective. Fed rate cuts. Another thing said, hey, silver's getting higher because the US dollar is great. It just depends on which pop-up it is. Yeah, I don't have much to offer you. Maybe 10 points to the upside, but remember, like I just said, we already popped up to that 10 points and rejected. So we're now at the top of a range that there's not a lot of upside potential. So I would hope to get a sell. We're coming down below this moving average now. MACD is trying to get bearish. We've got a little cross there. We need this to close bearish. Preferably, we don't even have to wait for the breakout. We just need it to close bearish on the other side of this moving average. Preferably, you can wait to get below this previous low candle, but you don't even have to. You just need this to close bearish below this previous candle, which is 437.2-ish, 437.2. And once that happens, take the short. You don't have to give it very much room. There's a bit of an imbalance here. So you can give it the full size of the range, or you can give it all the way up into 438, just to show you like come back into this level. That's your 2.5 to 1 if and when it sets up. As a breakout, though, you would want to wait for the breakout to happen, which is going to come a little bit late.
I've been doing something a little bit different lately on the 15-minute goal. If there's a big opening range, I'm using the 50% take profit line as my stop loss, and it's only hit like 23% of the time so far. If it's a shorter opening range, then I'll use the full range.
Nice. I like that. I like that a lot, actually. I'm so proud of you for keeping track of kind of your what percentage of the time is this happening? Because it also helps you in a day where maybe you are red, maybe you got tripped up or you manually, got into some things that maybe you shouldn't have. I think it helps to understand, hey, this red trade, as long as I followed my rules, is part of my, whatever, 20%, 30%, 40% of losses. And it's hard and it hurts, especially like on a catastrophic day where it like cost you an account or it cost you a payout or it cost you, something you had one more day to, get to this next level before a rebuild or something. That day sucks, obviously, but it's part of it. And if more people could see that, I think we would all be doing this except exponentially, if I could talk, better. There's that breakout on gold.
And something else I'm focusing on right now, I still have my voice after 3 weeks. I don't know what's going on. But anyway, um, I'm trying to work on minimizing stop losses and especially the amount of a stop loss. So now, as soon as price crosses the 50% take profit line, I move my stop loss just like $3 or $4 or $5 within profit. So
That
that
might
way,
be a little bit
if it
close.
does
So
reverse, then I don't lose anything.
one of the things we're building in, I went to the 15-minute. Please forgive how many is on here. We were talking about something today, but let me turn off some of these. I'll turn off this way they're a little bit more spread apart. So I'm on the 15-minute now. I could actually do one other thing. Um, make this 15. We'll make it 12 actually. That's more than enough room. So I'm on the 15 just so I have some data to actually work with. I'm going to go over here to well, looks like we got a pretty good exit. And that's the whole point of going for 10 points. It's hard sometimes to go for 10 points and you see it go much more, but man, on a moment like that, it's nice. So here, I'm going to take off the MACD and just look. I'm going to try to look for one that's got a bit more of a move. We might not get one. So this is pre-market. It goes 50%. I'd much rather you, if it was me. No, again, you have to do what's best for you based off of your psychology, your trading, your, well, your time, your whatever. But I'd much rather you either A, get out of the trade, okay, or get out of some of the trade, then move your stop loss into break even here because obviously on this day, all you got for that sell side was 50% of the range. Now to the upside, you got, what is that, 150% of the range, give or take from that last one. So on that one, of course, it's a good example. But even then, you come into here and before you maybe cash out, you tap back into this where you would have got knocked out. So for me, and you guys have seen my trailing settings for a long time on Trade I had that setting to where like I would be in the trade and it would go to break even after 20 points, for example. And too much percent of the time was it coming back down, wicking me out at that couple point profit, whatever that looks like, and then taking off. So for me, when one of the things that we're coding into the automation is when it gets to X percentage of the range, maybe instead of locking profit, you just minimize loss. So instead of having the full range be your stop loss, it would be like half of the range be your stop loss. Because then you're still cutting your loss in half without necessarily risking your, you know, getting knocked out. Because even TradeZella is pretty big on the whole, hey, they're so loving with their little alerts, but they're like, you can downgrade that win rate to increase your, we don't need to have this huge win rate basically. Is something that they're pretty big on. And even in TradeZella is just that high win rate isn't necessarily great trading. And that's something hard for me to kind of get more comfortable with. Much harder. But that's just my 2 cents. It's up to you what you want to do. Because in this big candle, there's a very good chance that you hit this line, pop back down, and then pop back up. Because this is live price action that's probably going like this. So,
That happens a lot. Even on 15, it happens.
because look, we get to 50, and depending on how tight you have that, you kind of lock some profit. It knocks you out and then it goes. This one for sure, it you knocks you out. It's just to me, and this is all buys. There's no sell in that. This is a sell. You got your 50% target, so you may as well get out at 50% versus lock in at 50%. Because and that
Yeah,
we've seen that on the data that we've showed too, like from the classes. If I took this trade and I like, let's say I locked this one at break even, so I got my maybe 2 to 4 points out of it. And I locked this one at break even, I got my 2 to 4 points out of it. In a basket of two or three of these quote locked trades, it's equivalent to if I had just taken this and taken my 10 points, right? If I had just taken this and got out at 50%, that's the equivalent.
I also had the idea of just using the 50% as a take profit and on all of them, but
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good idea or not. And that's why I missed out on this morning. I used that and I made $80, but then it kept going up. I could have made 3 or 4 times that, but whatever.
See, you just never know. But like we said at the beginning of this call, so no trade on gold. We did come down below. We needed it to close bearish on that 2 minute time frame. We did not close bearish below this candle. What was it? This candle we needed to close below. We were turning bearish, but never closed bearish. So no trade and
Yeah,
had a break, but nothing else.
I just entered a buy on 15 on that one.
Okay,
It
nice.
just crossed. But what I don't like is when it just crosses, it just barely crosses with the wick and then shoots back down. But what can you do?
Yep. That is it. Remember, that's why you're looking at this information over a period of time. And again, win rates are hard because, of course, we want to see how much what's your average win rate with this strategy, with this indicator? Everyone wants to hear something like 90% or 100% or 80% or 70%. But, and I loved that for swing trading. Let me back up. I loved that I could average high 80s, 90s on swing trading. But remember how much room I was giving that trade, how different that is, how much time it had to play out. I think in futures, because I can't give this that much time to just play out. Obviously, the win rate needs to come down, but for scalping, I don't think I'm targeting that high of a win rate anymore. I'm targeting if I can average up 1.5 to 1, which I'm not there, I'm at like a 1.3 most months to 1. And that's, remember, with all those break even trades too, I'm doing pretty good. If I can average a 1.5 to 1 and maybe 65%, I would be very happy with just that. Just that. But my average accuracy is a little higher than that. So I need to increase the risk to reward. That's it. That's all I got, guys. We took our NQ trade. I'm not going to take gold. What I was looking for, we already talked about gold coming up maybe another 10 points or so. We wanted to close bearish below here. We didn't get it. Um, Robert, if you're buying, I guess that's probably more than 10 points, but let's just mark that up for your purpose. And not even 10 points because we would be targeting a little bit lower than that. So we wanted to target in here. It's about 5 points, maybe into that imbalance. You got 5 points. Not bad, but be mindful, be careful. Definitely consider, if you're in more than one contract, just close out some and then let the actual whole trade play out. And NQ is coming back down. So I got my little 10 points after fees out of this, and since then we've only edged around. So today it's another argument for why to go for that couple of points and just let it be. ES is looking more the same, and YM also. Oil. I really wanted to see oil come down a little bit more than we got today. We didn't even get into the 64s. Silver's pretty flat again all day, and platinum is flat on the day for the most part. So that's that. Ta-da. Easy peasy, Japanesey. Easy, easy peasy. All right, did anybody take that trade on NQ or maybe the one on ES? Platinum's moving down. I'd be careful with gold. All right, awesome. Well, in that case, I see the hearts. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. I can see him on this app, but I can't see him on the other app. So that's nice. But if this content is helpful to you, pretty please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe and share this video. It's going to help us get in front of all the right people. Again, if you haven't already done so, check out the link tree, check out the link that's posted in the chat. And I hope you guys have a happy, happy Tuesday. Tomorrow, I'm going to be out of the office a little bit. We've got a ton of shopping, a ton of things to do. Last few weeks of school, well, before school starts, and then off to some normalcy. So if I'm in and out, it's because we're working on some major code or I'm working on some family stuff. And please make sure you guys post in the chat. If you guys are using any of the things like Pick My Trades for the breakout or some of the other things that we have for TradingView, just wait till you see what this thing can do. So I think everything is going to get a lot simpler. A little bit to learn on the front end, sure. But once you guys get the real big picture, so, so easy. And the rest of you guys using Dragonfly, again, so, so easy. Just printing some money in the background, letting it go, do what it's got to do, and go on with your life. So not a bad way to be at all. But
When does Rosie go back to Spain?
I'll hear shortly.
Well, you got to get him some extra time with her then.
We're working on it. But we booked out a bajillion things, so now we're just one by one going through a bucket list of this, and this, and we're hitting most of them. Most of them, without a doubt, we're hitting them. But there's only so many hours and free time. So, and there's lots of people too. So many people. We're very blessed to have so many people in our lives. Um, but she is decidedly going back. Her TIA got declined or something today. So that was a bit of a scare that we're gonna have to kind of figure out. Don't know what
TA, is
happened
that
there.
travel authorization?
Um,
I don't know.
yeah,
That's what we call it at work.
yeah, it's don't quote me on exactly what it means, the exact initials, but it's her ability to be there. It's like her residency. So,
Uh,
you know, we'll figure out what happened there. And other than that, that's all we've got though. So. If you guys have any questions, comments, or if you're in the Dragonfly chat, I posted an Excel spreadsheet. So please make sure if you have particular questions you want to go over, make sure you put them in there. It'll make it so much easier. We have a live webinar. We're going to hang out tomorrow night, just going over all things automation and kind of living off of printed money in that webinar. So make sure any questions you have, settings, risk management, tools, news, anything that you guys want to go over, put it in that and we will go over that. Because at this point, we have almost everything done in all these webinars. So we're getting close to the end, and then we'll have some individual like 4 or 5 minute videos posted up kind of for each little topic, like how to install and how to use MT5 and all the things that maybe are new to some, but not new to all. So yes, sir. All right. Happy Tuesday, guys. I will see you guys on Thursday morning. Thanks for coming. Congratulations on your trade. Put the W's